Now, let's create a Scada project in TIA Portal. I have opened the TIA Portal software and clicked on Create. I'll be creating a new project by clicking on Create. So, what should be the name of this project? We can call it Scada in TIA Portal. Now, the PLC I will be using in this training is here. I will carry out the training by communicating my PC and my PLC. Now, after coming to this segment, you should remember this. I will click on Add New Device after clicking on Configure a Device. First of all, I will select the PLC I'm using. The PLC I'm using here is the 1212 DC-DC model of S7-1200. Now, let's be aware of this. The version of my PLC I'm using here is version 4.0. For that reason, had I added the version 4.2 or a different version, then my PC and PLC would not communicate. You should be aware of this. So we have done that. Now let's wait for it. Friends, we have said that we will use the S7-1200 PLC, but I will not use the other equipments on it. I don't think I will use them right now. However, we may use the analog inputs and outputs, along with the digital inputs and outputs, in the future if our training wants it. Now, I am able to see the features of my CPU, in other words, the features of my PLC. So, if I do this, I am able to pick an eye on the Ethernet connection settings and the similar settings. So, we are seeing an IP address like 192.168.0 when we come to the settings of it. Now, what did I do with my PLC? I've selected it, but what should I do now? I have to select an equipment for the Scada. Now, what did we say? What was the thing that we call Scada? It was the HMI. We used to do it with an HMI panel. In other words, we used to use a panel for Scada. However, we will use a PC instead. And the PC we will be using here is the PC we are using right now. We have clicked on it, PC Systems, we have clicked on it. Under the PC Systems, there is PC General. In other words, it tells us to create a project by selecting a PC and adding extra hardware to it. You are able to select them when you want to select a PC under the Siemens's industrial PCs. So, if you want to perform a Scada operation using a machine of Siemens, then you are able to select the related machine under the Industrial PCs tab. There are Siemens devices that we call open controllers. In here there is a device of Siemens which is called Schematic S7 EC31. There are also operator components of Schematic here. You are also able to perform the operation by selecting the operator components using this section. Now, what we will do here is to select this and add a PC system. And after that, we can start our operations by adding a Schematic HMI application. However, I would rather prefer this, so let's delete the other one. Let me delete that one. I usually do this rather than that. You can see it here. There is a Schematic HMI application menu. Now, if you remember, in our previous trainings we had a menu named WinCC Runtime Advanced. That WinCC Runtime Advanced was the stations we used to program the HMI panels. We will be using this WinCC Runtime Proffesionel station that you see. We will be selecting that for that reason. Now, we will not be using that WinCC client a lot, but we may use it in our training. Yet, there is still benefit in informing you about it. Friends, that is a menu that is used in the client projects that enables you to monitor the project. It works as a server and allows you to monitor and intervene the project in different screens. In other words, it enables you to remotely monitor a menu, and you're also able to perform your operations through it when you need to take control. Now, we will be selecting the WinCC Runtime Proffesionel for the Scada operation. Look, after selecting that, this menu will appear. This is important. Look, we have selected it. Now, after selecting it, our PC system is added to this section, and the HMI Runtime WinCC is added here. So what does this actually mean? When we open it like this, you're able to see the same of the menus we have previously seen in the HMI panels. Look, there is a screen menu, there is a screen setting menu, tag menu, and connection menu. We can see many menus here. So, I have added it like this. Now, I have said that I will use the PC based on the Scada. So, how will this PC communicate with the PLC or some other device? It will communicate via an Ethernet port. So, I have selected that Ethernet port from here, and I will not have a problem if I select the IE General. So let's click on that and see what the IP address of this thing is. Now friends, its IP address is displayed as 1. So let's look for the IP address of my PC. Let's see the PC's IP address. So let's get into that section and look, let's check out our PC's IP address from there. Look, the IP address of our PC is 3. Therefore, it needs to be in the same server in order to communicate. Therefore, because my PLC is actually the thing that I have added here, my address here should also be at 3. So, let's remember this remark. I have made the alterations in that way. After that, there is the connection settings regarding these, which I need to make. There are 2 settings above. They are network and connections. Look, I will select connection, and when I connect it like this, look, when I select it and connect it, you can see that the network settings are done as well. In other words, it seems here that I have connected them physically. So, let's do the physical connection between my PC and PLC, like this. I have heard the click noise, and now the connection is made. This connection is done. So, after the connection, let's go to the connection section and check if the settings are done or not. Look, we can clearly see here that the connection between my PLC and my Schematic PC station is done. We can clearly see that the connection is made. So, if you are using different connections here, you have to select them from here. And if you want to do something manually, friends, if you want to make a connection manually, then you are able to do the settings from here. You should know this for that reason. Now, what will we do here? We will use a real PLC here. Because we will use a real PLC, we will not make a setting regarding the simulator. Some of our friends may use simulators instead. So, regarding the simulators, I will not tell you anything right now. But you will need to do these. Now, let's talk about what we have to do.